Yo, what's up? It's your boy Greg Gray, Dope Living TV. This is the show where, man, you can say anything that you want. We try to inspire, we try to encourage, we try to enlighten, and we try to make sure that you get it done. I'm Greg Gray. Rest of the people come on in a minute. Look, the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. They are just mine, yours, and everybody else that tunes in. So look. This week we are trying to we're talking about sharing stories of inspiration this week. We want to know who or what inspired you to be who you are today. What are some of the negatives that got you to your positive? You know, how did you walk towards your greatness throughout all the obstacles that life is throwing at you? And we talked yesterday about a lot of obstacles amongst our panel. We had a young lady that she's been a regular viewer of the show, and it was good to have her on the show. Nicole Montgomery, she's been going through so much. This 2020 has really wreaked havoc on her life, but hopefully we some of the conversations, some of the shows that we've had have helped her to at least see things in a different light. It's things that are happening to her. It's not her fault. Things happen. What does Jocelyn Kelly always say? Things don't just happen; they happen justly. But we want to make sure that we try to leave a positive on every show. We laugh, we joke, we talk, and do all of that stuff. But the main focus is that number one, we have fun. Number two, we enlighten and encourage. So, having said that, I'm by myself right now, and I'm gonna dime all of my people out. Okay, 7 o'clock, y'all. 7:01. What's up? So I'll start telling my story, and hopefully they'll cut me off. So, and shout out to everybody out there who's gone through something to get to something. I've invited some people on today to share their stories, to let us know what they've gone through. Some people have gone through loss of loved ones and still kept walking through, kept on marching through to the victory. Some have lost everything. I mean, basically, they became homeless, but through perseverance, prayer, they came through it. So these are the stories that we want to tell, and we got a gang of people now. We're also streaming on YouTube and Twitch and Reddit. So when you get to us, and if you get your face on here, you're all over the world. All over the world. So look, let me tell you a little bit about some things, and I touched on it yesterday about some things that happened in my life. So as I started a dance show in Gary, Indiana. It was and I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of what we looked like. It was a struggle, but we didn't have much. We started the show at a cable station at 925 Kentucky, and ironically, the name of the show was 925 Studio 925. On the Move was the show, and this is the first photograph that we all did together. This is the dance show. This is in the late 80s. So my brother was in there, a couple other people. Shout out to Randall Haynes, Pastor Haynes. There's Emmanuel. There's Cassandra. She was fiance of my brother that just died, Chris. There's T. There's everybody in there. Anyway, we started this show and we just danced. I wanted it to be like a Soul Train type thing, and it actually was working. And I'd actually quit. I say quit. People might say lost, but my job working for a great company out in Schaumburg, Illinois, Motorola. And what happened was that, long story short, show got taken away. Well, the program director there wanted to do his own thing. Show got taken away. he tried to do it. And I'm telling you guys, make sure that you always copyright, trademark everything that you do, because somebody can steal it or try to steal it. This guy tried to steal what I had when I started doing music videos, and he got caught up. And the guy, since I was the one that signed everything, he got caught up. Let's welcome Ludine to the show. And
Hello.
long story short, this guy lost everything that he had. Now, at the same time, I was out there myself. You know, I was, I would look off. I'm telling you, I would look off. Ludine, did you see that picture I just showed? I would look all fresh and clean going to the studio to do that dance show, right? That's me in the middle with the hair, little
Right.
black, nice little suit. But coming off of that, I had nowhere to go. I was homeless, so I would come dress up and look real good. I mean, here's another picture from that time, trying to get it all together. I was clean, but I had nowhere to go. I was homeless, and nobody ever knew. But perseverance, prayer, and just saying, you know what, he ain't done with me yet. That got me back to where I am today. So it can happen. It's just a matter of
Hmm.
knowing who you are, knowing what God has put you on this earth for. So, having said that, how are you, Ludine?
I'm wonderful, and you? How are
Man,
you?
I am good. No complaints whatsoever. It was a long day today, but
Long day, let me tell you.
I know got through it though. Got through.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
So, thank you for coming on early.
Because I'm leaving early.
That's all good though. But at least you're here. You know, I know everybody got their own things that they do. Their, you know, and this is what I do. But I know everybody got their own things to do. But y'all, I wish y'all would come on at 7.
We be rolling. We be trying. I'm telling you, traffic right now. Everybody's trying to get to their destination, and they're trying to shop. So I'm coming out of
I know.
Illinois back into. Ooh, and then it's Taco Tuesday. Folks want to get their tacos and they little whatever for. Oh, it's more people out. And I was it a snow warning or something, because
Oh, really?
I don't know. This morning there were about 25 trucks lined up on the highway all the way up the ramp, and I said, "Is this supposed to snow?" They had the salt ready, the plows ready. I don't know, maybe they were doing a routine. It's just a lot of activity today. Just a
Getting
lot of
ready.
activity. Yeah, getting ready, and a lot of trucks out. A lot of, not that we don't, more trucks than normal, semi trucks than normal, because I know how, but it's just a lot of activity today.
So let me ask you. As we're talking about encouraging people, telling people our stories, you never get a chance to really have this platform, because everybody else be on there and you be trying to jump in, okay? But so I
Uh-huh.
really need you to get in here right now. I mean, it was so great to see Nicole on here yesterday.
Yeah, it was a really good show. I actually replayed it this morning when I was up at 4 o'clock this
Yeah, it
morning.
was
I said,
good.
it's a really good show.
It
Yeah,
was
really
good.
good show. Hmm.
And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We had a lot of viewers on that show yesterday, and
Yeah.
everybody for doing. But you started telling about your past and how you had your stepfather was in the business, and you guys went through a whole lot. Can you share a little bit more about your journey and that got you to where you're at today?
Well, actually, I'll go back a little further. I guess this week is about. I can speak about it now.
Hmm.
My mother was a teenage mom, and she had me when she was 16, and so I was raised by my grandmother. Everyone was talking about, I was raised in a very loving home, but it was with my grandmother, her mother. But at 3, she tried to keep me, but it just wasn't working. And so at one point, she took me to my grandmother, and she said, if you leave the baby here this time, you're not taking her back.
Ah.
So can you imagine at 3, you've known your mother, you've been with your mother, and then one day she doesn't come back for you.
Hmm.
So I didn't. So from 4 to I was in kindergarten. I guess I was 4 then. So early learning. Early learning. I was at Williams. I didn't speak for a whole year.
Wow.
And the teacher said I just looked out the window looking for my mother to come, And then I found, my grandmother passed, and I was looking through some paperwork. I was I was absent 45 days, which means they couldn't even find anybody to take me to school. So there was a lot going on. And so art, literally, that's why I'm so passionate about art and film and theater and dance. And I even participated in art, theater, dance, choir, anything that around art I was involved with. But art literally saved my life. So I had to repeat kindergarten because the first year I didn't talk or do anything. So I think that was the first time I became, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to do what I want to do. Y'all not going to make me talk. You're not going to make me participate. I want what I want, which was my mother. So that set the course for a lot of things. And then with my grandmother raising me, and then my sister's dad, so at a certain point, we started traveling very early because she's right behind me. She's only 1 year behind me. So at 3 and 4, we were on the train traveling, going to see him in Memphis and then coming back. And so growing up, when you leave, we were, little princesses, if you will, and then come back home, you know, it was a loving home, but we here in Gary, everything was cool. We weren't in a mansion or anything, but it was like two different worlds,
Let
you
me ask you
know.
this though. So
Mm-hmm.
you weren't talking to school, but
Mm-mm.
was that going on the road with your sister's dad, your stepdad? Was that going on the road something that took you out of reality?
Well, that's the other part because my mother, even though she was young, she made it an adventure.
Mhm.
So we're going on a road trip, and we would catch the train and flying very early. I remember flying on Delta very early. So at like 5 and 6. So that was a whole nother world, just flying and going into different cities. And then we were going to Orlando, we were going to California, even locally, if we go to Cleveland. I mean, we were traveling everywhere, everywhere. As far as East Coast and New Jersey, New York, as little bitty kids. And then of course Memphis and all down, down south. So yeah, it was a big adventure for us. And we were exposed to so many different things because we stayed in the nice hotels, we ate at the nice restaurants, and then we come back home and it's like we don't subsidize, lunches. It was a whole nother world,
Whole nother
but
world.
right, but that's the other part, vacillating between two different worlds. And I very early I learned that people wanted to be my friend because of who my dad was, and I was like, no, we
Right.
good. I was like, no, we good. I didn't have a lot of friends because I knew I could read you from afar. I could read you far when see you coming. So I was like, nope, I don't need new friends. I got one, my sister, my cousins. That's it. So I learned very early to be cautious of people. And then my dad also say people gonna want to be your friend because of who I am. So I was like,
Right.
cool. So I learned a lot very early.
And that's a
Being,
good thing too. But you also had to endure a lot of that because I guess putting your mind outside of everything that was
oh
going on
yeah,
differently is a task in itself. What's going on, Carl Rayford? But
hey, girl. And then my biological dad wasn't in my life. I was with my sister's dad. My biological dad was in my life, so that's the other part too. I love my sister's dad, but I didn't have my dad.
and that's and I couldn't, again, I can only speak on what I know. I couldn't imagine being without my dad. You know what I'm saying? I could imagine
Right.
coming up like that. Let's welcome Jory Lynn to the show.
Hey, Jory, Doctor Jory,
Hey,
Doctor Jory Lynn.
what's
Yeah, I
going
forgot
on?
she left the doctor off.
Right, Dr. Jory Lynn. Now, y'all, you got to bet. You better to recognize.
Oh
Gotta
Lord,
Well, Ladine, going through
she,
all of
she
that,
in the front by
Ladine,
the Christmas tree. Hold
going through
on.
all of that, and then coming to, what actually got you to a point from that point? I'll say point A to point B to make you just say, well, hey, you know what? I'm not going to get stuck there, you know?
Well, I had a really good support system from my family. I had beautiful aunts and uncles that just like took me and like, we got you. And I remember my teachers, Miss Coney, Miss Baker, Miss Harding, Miss Smith. When I was at Spalding, Miss Springer, Mr. Turner. I remember my teachers very early. In Spalding, it was such a beautiful, nurturing um, uh, experience. So that in itself, my art teacher, my choir teacher, Miss Green, my art teacher, all of that, they really, because I just immersed myself into the arts and I
Mhm.
immersed myself into school. That's why I was just active. It's like I was a butterfly in a cocoon and then I just, came out. But, little, if you say worm and then in the cocoon and then I was a butterfly. I was just a social butterfly. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's why I'm so active, because from very early, and my mother said, be of good character, be of good student. And, she drilled that into me. So she also put us in everything. I had a piano teacher come to my home and we taught us piano. I went to Miss Corrine dance school. And so that in itself, all of those experiences, I did poetry contests at Holliston on the weekend, orator. So
Hmm.
all of that. Oh yeah, all of that. I just did any and that, tumbling, I could just go on and on. My mother put us in everything.
I remember,
Everything.
I remember Corrine's dance studio on Fifth.
Corrine dance school. Remember the Y up here on 6th in Connecticut? I took tumbling up there. I was a Girl Scout.
Yeah,
Everything. I went to New York in the 6th grade because we were also very good kids, obedient, respectful, good kids, and she can trust us. And so at 6th grade, I was in New York.
and
You
see,
know,
your journey is actually our blessing. So I'm glad. I know you've been through a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm glad that you came through it, and you sitting here with us. Let's welcome Gina and Chris Mills to the show.
hey
Hey
guys,
everybody.
hey,
So Ludine was here first this time, y'all, and
rare,
I'm not.
rare,
I'm
because
not
I'm
saying
leaving
it,
early. Because I'm leaving early.
but I ain't saying it to be mean. I'm just saying, she never really gets a chance to really talk about,
I'm okay.
stuff. But this time we got a chance to just
Oh,
listen to her.
I put me on mute. Go ahead, the day for the talk.
You missed it. You got to watch the recap.
She had the first 15 minutes right there, man. And y'all,
No, no, no.
we got
It's
Dr.
fun.
Dory Lynn on here with us. So what's
All
going
right.
on? She
Hey.
took the doctor off.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Yeah, you
I
did.
Yeah,
didn't do it
you
on
did.
You know what? I'm on my phone and it's weird because when I do it from my iPhone, it it
Well,
breaks up.
only thing you gotta do is click your name in that little box next to the URL of the show. You should be able to type it in.
Oh, 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 oh.
Dory,
and then also I met Dr. Jory Lynn in I was at Emerson right before they closed. I was at the last school there, your last class before they closed. Love
mm,
Emerson. And then I was welcomed into the family of horsemen, and that's where I met Dr. Jory Lynn
Hey,
and horsemen, and a beautiful experience there as well. So I love my childhood. My childhood
hey,
was the
don't
best.
don't kill me, all right, y'all. I've lived in Gary for
there we go.
We know.
23, 28? Yep, 28 years. And I ain't seen Emerson not one time.
You've never been inside Emerson?
Never seen it, never been in it. I just knew it was on the low end, but I didn't know where.
Hey, I ain't gonna be mad
That's
at you.
okay.
I ain't gonna be mad at you because honestly, I'm not
Hmm?
the truth too. If of course, a girl gonna be put in this. I dated a girl that lived on that side of the town, and she
Hmm.
went to Emerson. I never would have seen Emerson either if I hadn't been on that side of town
I
visiting.
couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you where Emerson is at. I
Are
know it's
you
Emerson.
serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Who gave you that?
Emerson was the first school in Gary.
It was the who?
The first school in Gary.
First what school?
The first high school in Gary.
It was?
Chris, the first high school.
Yeah, it was.
Stop it. It was before Frable, yeah.
They was getting high.
But anyway, little known history facts. So that's one reason why I love Emerson. I could walk to Emerson. I was only 5 blocks away. Spalding was next door, and Emerson was such a small, intimate school. And everybody, we grew up in
Where
a
was it
neighborhood. It was
located?
it's on 6th and
Go straight down 6th Avenue.
6th Avenue, Rhode Island, and well, not Rhode Island. I want to say.
Gina, quit popping off. I won't have to keep popping you back on.
I know. Look, I'm disappointed in my phone. That's all I can say.
It's just one street east of Virginia. 6th in Virginia, right? One street, 6th in Virginia. You don't know where?
Hey, Chris, the
Valley. You've heard
I
of
know
the
the
Valley.
I've
So,
dated
well,
plenty
that's
of women in the Valley.
Oh,
well,
so now
that's
you got a
well,
story with a woman on there, okay?
well, the Valley is down the street from Emerson, but in the area, yeah.
Raven Hall says, she never knew that her son graduated from Emerson 7th in Carolina.
Thank you, 7th in Carolina, honey. My mind is crazy. Spalding is right there,
7th in
Rhode
Carolina.
Island. Yeah, 7th in Carolina.
GI in the house, y'all, for real.
There you go.
Hey, Jory Lynn, Dr. Jory Lynn.
Yes.
What's going on with you? How are you today?
I'm pretty good. I'm
Look,
having a moment.
I'm so happy.
I'm struggling right now. I'm having a moment, but what the
I'm going to get you on your roll now, though. I'm so happy to have, we always, Chris and I are just so blessed to be surrounded by powerful women, okay, with stories to tell, okay? So we're talking about inspiring people with stories of inspiration, stories about what we came through to get to where we are. You care to share your story?
I don't have as an exciting story as the Dean.
You so funny.
Let me say this before you start, Dr. Joy. It's people, because I know it's a lot of people in your life that inspired you to become
Right.
and got you to where you at right now.
There are
Or even changed your way of thinking or the direction that, I may have went in another direction with my life without the people that, influenced me.
So start there at the beginning. Just start at the beginning.
Okay, so growing up,
or not.
I have 2 brothers, one older, one younger. I am a daddy's girl. My life, my whole center of my universe is my dad. And me and my mom were close, but she had her sons, and my dad had me. And there was no competition or anything, or I didn't get enough love from mom, so I gravitated to dad, and vice versa. It was enough love to go around, and that's one of the things I try to teach my girls is that I have enough love for everybody. Both sides of my families are huge. My mom is from Columbia, South Carolina. My dad is from Canton, Mississippi. My dad is the 7th of 10, and then there were 4. My mom is the 3rd of 4. But our families are huge, huge. So every summer we were either in Columbia, South Carolina, or we were in Mississippi, or we were on road trips. My dad was a blue collar worker, worked at Inland Steel for 33 years. Before that, he was in the Army. My mom taught school. She taught GED, or off of what is it called? The Friendship House. I don't know if y'all remember what that was. You remember the Friendship House? The Friendship House. And then she worked for the assessor's office for God knows how long. She was in city government for forever.
The Friendship House, ain't that where you went to make friends?
No.
On a trip?
So this is why I don't like talking. So, elementary, Ambridge, Norton, junior high, Tolleson. I think in Tolleson is when I really started blooming. I was in the band, played clarinet, and I was a drum major. Got the horseman, um, just where I met Ludine, and I had a really good high school. I had a really good growing up experience in Gary. I should say that our neighborhood was truly that of a village. So I still call Mrs. Willis and Mr. Willis and Mr. Riddle across the street. They're still there. And so everybody that I grew up with and all of us that grew up together, Miss Johnson down the street, and we all just, it was a village. I've gotten my butt whooped probably by every parent on the block. And then it would call my parent to let them know that they whooped my butt. So when I get home, my parent can do the same. And so a lot of that molded me into the parent I am today. Graduated from Horseman and went down to a HBCU, St. Augustine's in Raleigh, North Carolina. And back then, at 17, graduating high school, you can't wait to get out of college. I mean, get out your mama house. And I went down to college and partied for 2 years. And some things came up in my family with my older brother where I had to leave school. And came back home and realized that I had gotten a taste of being grown. And so living back in my parents' house was not an option. And on December 22nd, what's today? December 22nd? Yep. On a day like today, the Navy recruiter rang my doorbell at 5 in the morning to pick me up, to take me to boot camp. And I joined the Navy. I left the Navy on December 22nd.
Did you want to go? Or did that...
I actually went down to the recruiter's office. So when I came home from college, I worked at what was then Sizzlers on Ridge Road.
Yeah, man.
You remember Sizzlers on Ridge Road? I worked there for a while, and then I had little jobs doing stuff, and I was like, this ain't it. So I went to the one of my childhood friends, her name was Chi Chi, and she had joined the Navy. And Chi Chi told me all about the Navy, and I was like, oh, I can do that. So went to the recruiter, took the ASVAB, and because I was a tomboy for so long and I was a daddy's girl, I would work on cars. I like putting stuff together. And so the recruiter came on December 22nd, rang the doorbell. Because I told my parents I had joined the Navy. My mama didn't believe me. And the recruiter rang the doorbell, and I walked out the door, and I kissed my mom, and I said, and I walked, and I just kept looking at the car. I said, because if I looked back and saw her crying, I was not gonna leave. So I left and went to boot camp in Orlando, Florida. And my first duty station was Roosevelt Road, Puerto Rico. I lived in Puerto Rico for 2 years and met a lot of people. Left there and then ended up in California, up in the Bay Area. So you got to understand, I joined the Navy in '87, stayed in Puerto Rico to '89, left Puerto Rico, went to a sea school in Memphis, Tennessee for a while, and then ended up on the West Coast in the '90s. So, Chris, that is where my love
for Too Short came up.
Because I was up in what was called Moffett Field, and I was in Northern California. So Moffett Field sat right in between Oakland and Frisco. Okay. Sat right in the middle.
Okay.
And I mean, I was hooked. I was hooked. Traveled the world. Left Northern California, went down to San Diego, and that's where my love for Cube and all that was, all that came in. So although I was Midwest and I grew up on East Coast rap, my diehard love for West Coast rap is deep. It's embedded in me.
You sound like me.
So, my last year, well, in 1993, I got married, had a baby, and at that time in '95, they were getting ready to put women on carrier ships, and that wasn't the life for me. I wasn't about that life. I wasn't about being on no ship, confined in the middle of the ocean for months at a time. So I got out and came home. And coming home was a culture shock for me. It was really hard for me to adjust after being gone. And I've been to the Philippines, I've been to Madeira, I've been, to Japan, and I've been to Hong Kong. And I mean, it was coming back to Gary. I was like, I actually felt like I had hit rock bottom. It was different. I mean, everybody was different to me. A lot of my friends were still here, and they were doing well, but their way of thinking was different from mine. I just saw things differently. My it was just, I don't know. It was just
you want me to translate it for you?
Yeah, it was a hard adjustment.
That's what it was. You went away and you saw the world, and you came back and saw how slow the city was.
Thank you, Chris.
Is
I was
that
like,
what it was?
That's exactly what it was. Every time I leave and go back,
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all are like 10, 15 years behind.
And so,
it's like you step back in time.
So, my first job back was working for this place called Local Initiative Support Corporation. I was inside. So what was it then? I think it was Bank One when I first got back home. It used to be Gainer, and then it went to something else, and then it went to Bank One. So I think it was Bank One when I got home. It wasn't Chase yet.
That joint was some of everything. That joint was some of everything. It was bank.
Yeah.
Right. It was probably every
bank. It was all of them,
So I worked there, and they were in this particular company. There was, it was based out of New York. They had offices in Chicago, and then they had a small satellite office here. And I worked for this guy named Carl Jenkins. And the Local Initiative Support Corporation, what they did is they work with community development corporations to build low-income housing units. So the housing units that are on, what is that? Right by the YWCA. I forgot the name of it. Yeah, on 11. So we built those. So those are the type of projects we did. Left there and went over to the Chicago office and worked over there for a while. Left there and then landed a job at the bankruptcy court. And in my mind, I was like, oh, the bankruptcy court is federal. It'd be more aligned with how I think people's work ethic should be. So one of the things about the military was, if you're early, you're late, and if you're early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late. So if work started at 7, I'm there at 7:45 because you're supposed to actually physically be working at 7, not walking through the door, not just clocking in, not just pulling up to the parking lot. You're supposed to be in your seat working at 7. Worked at the bankruptcy court for a few years. I was just like, and I had actually contemplating on going back into the Navy because my adjustment was so horrible. And I mean, I had, say again?
I said, Dr. Joy, I want to ask you a question.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it seems like your journey was just work.
You know what? It wasn't just work. So if you do something you love to do, it's not work. So in the Navy, I was a jet engine mechanic. That was my job.
I need some work on my jet. I need some work on my jet.
I was a jet.
I got a
I was
helicopter. I need some work on that
I was
helicopter.
actually in the first things I worked on in Puerto Rico were H-3 helicopters and A-4 jet training jets. So I was a jet engine
I, I,
mechanic.
You
I
I
got
was
just want to ride in your jet.
I was right. I was just
you don't ride
I was
a
a
helicopter
flight
with me?
line person. I was the person that, and to me that was fun. That was fun. You mean to
Oh,
me
let
that
me
was
ask
like
you,
working.
Dr.
That was
Joy.
like working on a car with my dad. You know what I
Dr. Joy,
mean? Yes.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Dr. Joy, how are your eyes?
What do you mean how my eyes?
Huh?
What do you mean?
Shut up. Don't answer.
No,
Don't answer.
Don't
Don't
fall
answer.
for it,
Don't
Jory.
answer.
Dr. Joy, let me
Don't
tell you
Don't
fall
this.
for it.
No,
answer
let
Don't
me
his
tell you
answer
this.
his
question.
No, let me tell
question.
you. Yesterday, Jocelyn, Chris, Gina, and
See,
Ludmila. No,
No,
they
what's
all.
you're
gonna
gonna get
happen
struck by
is he start
lightning.
talking that bullshit and I'm gonna hang up because
It
he
ain't a
always
book.
waits till he talks to me to get
It ain't a
stupid.
book. Hey, I ain't had number of respect for you. Right? I didn't let you
Okay,
say everything you had to
come
say,
on.
but I'm asking you about your eyes because Ludine, Gina, Chris, and Jocelyn, all of them had a problem with their eyes. All of them had eye surgery, detached retinas, glass eyes, all of that stuff. All of them. I was sitting around with blind people yesterday. Okay, but let me get back to you. So as we go through, because we want to keep it moving. Um, I understand your journey. Okay, you did a lot of traveling. You went around the world. You've seen the world. You've gone to school. It's like you don't sit down and wait for things to happen. You make them happen yourself. All right. So as we had I don't know if you remember the young lady Nicole on with us yesterday. She came on yesterday and she cried a little bit. She has a lot of stuff going on in her life. Okay, and to see powerful women like yourselves is a beautiful thing. Okay, if she was trying to I want to say go through or get to a level of always letting things making things happen as opposed to letting them happen for you. Is there a template or a guide that you can give her?
You know, you you gotta want it. You have to want it. You can't worry about what other people think. You
True that.
can't care about what other people think. Um, you gotta want it enough for yourself and for nobody else. So you remember I told you, when I first started on Dope Living TV, you talked about my doctorate. I said I got that for me. If nothing else, to look up on the wall and said, shit, I did that.
Absolutely.
I did that for me. I didn't do it for nobody else. I didn't do it. If you do things for the wrong reason, it's never going to turn out the way you want it to.
Right.
You got to
True.
do it for yourself. So I know a lot
True.
of people I was in this program with, they were like, yeah, if I get my doctorate, I'll get a raise or I'll get a promotion. And then when they get the survey, ain't none of them got a promotion or a raise. Matter of fact, a lot of them is not working at the place that they were working at when they were going through the program. You got to do stuff for the right reason. And the right reason is always going to be for the betterment of yourself,
Yeah.
nothing else. You can't even say, I'm doing this for my kids. Because believe it or not, they ain't going to appreciate it till they get your age anyway. They're not going to appreciate the struggle. They're going to be mad because they ain't got enough time with mama or time with daddy, or you work too much. And so you got to do it for you. And once you get that in your mind that this is for you and it's all about you,
So
the heavens will open up.
when you reach that level, say you reach that level that you got to that you're at, and you've done everything that you, I guess, appear to have done everything that you wanted to do. Do you sit down and just say, okay, well, I'm there now, I'm done?
Oh, you're never done. You're never done. Um, I still got some spiritual growth to do. I mean, I have a great relationship with God. I think He likes me on most days. I get new mercies. I use them up. He give me more. We got this relationship right now, but I could be centered a little bit more. You know, it's still some things I need to work on with me. Um, for a long time, um, I wouldn't call them anger issues, but I was always raised to speak my mind, and it took me a long time to realize that sometimes being quiet is more powerful than saying what you gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I still have my moments. I still, hey, I still have some stuff. I mean, I get a twitch because I be wanting to say something, and I have to hold myself back.
You be
So,
having open moments with me.
absolutely. See, still a work in progress.
I can tell when that twitch comes and she get like this, y'all.
Mm. You know, you know how I know when it's coming. You know how I know it's coming. She'll look away from the camera.
But
She does.
hey,
She does.
Dr. Joy,
Yep.
I've been good. I've been good. You know, when you come on, you stay on a little while, so I've been good.
Yeah. So you know, I mean, but I mean, even in my professional life, you know, one of the biggest problems that I'm still working on as a as a human being is that I feel that if I know it, I expect everybody else to know it.
Right.
That's a
Right.
huge problem I have. And I mean, huge problem. So if I'm at work and if something is common sense to me, I think it should be common sense to everybody. And it's not. And when I tell you that shit makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck because I try to explain it and people don't understand. I'm just like, I just don't understand why you don't understand. That's so I still things about me that I know about me that I still need to grow and learn. But
Mm-hmm.
those are just some interpersonal things. As far as material things, I'm real. I'm not a materialistic person. I'm one of the people. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it is broke, get some fucking gray tape, and it works. So you know, you gotta just do stuff for you. And if
Right.
you're gonna um, if you're still trying to self improve or self love and or build your self esteem, you got to start with you first. Because my mama said you can't make nobody else happy if you ain't happy. I don't care what you do.
And you know what I want to add to that? You know, people get upset and they you know want to commit suicide. They think the world is falling in. I always say you always have tomorrow to correct what you did yesterday.
They call
And
mercy.
and so when those days don't go right, then you have to look forward to tomorrow. I'm going to do this, or I'm going to
Hmm.
change this, or I'm going to do things differently. I learned that when I worked at Pizza Hut. That was a learning job for me. And I worked at Pizza Hut making $2.01 an hour.
Me too.
So
At this place.
leaving there, it's like,
Hmm.
people complain about different jobs, and I've had bad jobs.
Time
So
out.
I'm
Time out.
like, this isn't
Time out.
bad.
Time out. Time out. How long ago was that?
It
Yeah,
was
that was a long time ago.
it was back
That
in
was one.
the 80s.
That
So
was one. Well, that was my second job because I had a job at the Skyline when I was in high school.
The
I
sky.
worked at the Skyline for like 3 years,
That's like one
all
of the.
until I went back to college. Until I
That's
went
like
off to college.
that's like one of the
Chris,
oldest places.
Yes.
yeah. So Chris,
But
so
I
the
made
part
money. I
was
made I made bank there, man. I made bank.
so
But
let me
the thing
explain
I
what
was
the 201 is. The $2.01 is so because you got tips and you were supposed to claim them, it was
Got.
compensate for the
hmm
other half of whatever
I
the
got you.
minimum
Okay.
wage was.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was pretty much like being a dealer.
That's your
You have
base
a
pay.
base pay, and
Right.
whatever the tips is, that's added on. Got you.
Right.
Right, right. So
But
yeah, 201 sounds crazy, but
one of the things that I learned working there, because sometimes, it was a popular place. That was Pizza Hut on Ridge Road. It's still there.
yeah.
And it was a
Mm-hmm.
popular place. And it would be so crowded in there. You would just be,
Right.
as a waitress, you would just be
Hey, Greg.
just all over the place. And so I had to teach myself that you can only do one thing at a time.
Hmm.
Take
The one
one
right.
thing at a time, get that done, and move to the next. And that helped me get through those days and nights where it's 50 people waiting in the dining room to be seated, and you got 50 more people telling you to go get this, get that, this meal is ready. I was driving myself nuts before then. And so that's why I learned that you just take things one thing, one step at a time. And you conquer that one thing, and then you move to the next.
Is
The
it
other thing I want,
is it
go
the
ahead.
Pizza Hut that's right there right before you get to
What
Klein?
is that?
Yes, yes,
Wow.
that's the one. I worked there for 5 years, and I when I left there, I said, if it's God's will, I will never do this kind of work again. It was
Ah,
labor, slave labor, and I have never. God has blessed me to never have to do that work again.
hey, let me say
But
hey
one of
real
the
quick. Let me say hey real quick, and we get right back to you. To a lot of people that are
sure.
coming on. There's Aaron Ishman. I think he's in. Aaron Ishman is. Aren't you related to Aaron Ishman, Jory?
Am I related to Aaron?
Or no Aaron Ishman?
I know him.
Yeah, he came out of school with my son.
He came out of school with my daughter.
Okay, Jacqueline Walden, what's going on? Dorian Johnson, what's up, man? Filmmaker, man, he got some stuff on Amazon. It's nice stuff. Fidel out there in I think he's in India. Rich Wilford out in California. Stephen Joseph. Raven Hall used to be my neighbor down the block, Roosevelt Street. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
One of the things I wanted to add, I'm pretty sure we all can say our parents were an influence. You know, everybody's parents are, whether it's a good influence or a bad influence. But uh, some things that I learned that I still practice that I've used and kept in my head all of my life was things that my mom taught us growing up. And my mom was very good with money. She was very good with money. I remember growing up with my mom and my dad having savings bonds. You guys remember the savings bonds
Yeah,
that
yes.
back in the day? They had stacks and stacks of savings bonds. I remember my mom had this mailbox change saver, and she would put silver coins in them in this mailbox. It was like the size of a mailbox, but it was actually a bank. And my mom would collect silver quarters, dimes, all kind of silver, and put it in this mailbox. And one of the things she always told us, always invest in things that's gonna give you return. And I carry that even now, which is why a lot of things people say, well, why don't you purchase this? It's cheaper. But growing up with that philosophy that my mother embedded in us, if I go out and buy a Lexus, I'm going to have that Lexus longer than if I go out and buy this Buick. And so I put my money in places where, as she always said, always have a way to get your hands on money if you need it. And so that's where the bonds came in. And so I do a lot of investing. I invest in stock. I am invest in real estate. You know, I have the businesses. I have a little bit of everything, but a whole lot of nothing. And so if I ever need to get my hands on cash, I always have that there because that's something that my parents embedded in us.
Or you can just look to the left at your brother Chris over there, and he'll hook you up. He got plenty of money.
Chris is to my right. So
Yeah.
is it two of you, Chris? I can come to both of y'all.
I said Chris.
And I said Greg. And I said Greg.
You didn't say
well,
Greg.
hey, why don't
Greg,
I? You
look,
Greg to the left,
Greg.
Chris to the right. Hey, y'all got me on both sides.
Hey, look, Greg closer to you. He'll get it fast. You'll get it fast.
Hey, Chris, so let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So, and just so everybody knows, we're going to be having Dope Living Music Friday. So everybody tune in. You know, we all expand in different things. Chris has a sports show that he's a part of. So y'all go and check that out. But, you know, Chris, as we do these Music Fridays, there's a lot of people out there. And Dorian Johnson, if you can get on here, man, real quick, get on here real quick. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to do this music. Mm-hmm. Now, because and they're young people, you know, everybody want to be a rapper. There ain't too many more R&B singers out there, but everybody want to be a rapper. But as these people are coming and they see guys like yourself, and I put myself in it too. We're seasoned. We're veterans at this. All right.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think we know what we're doing. Okay, but yet still they're still struggling out there. They're still going through. Jumping through hoops trying to get into the music business. Okay, how can you change? Well, not necessarily change their minds, but change the way that they think, so that they can listen to people like yourself, listen to people who are older people that's been in the business. Because although the business changes, the way to get into it really hasn't changed that much.
I don't try to convince nobody of anything.
Well, I said change their thinking though.
I don't try to. That's one thing I don't do. I just tell you. It's like I call myself the Volkswagen. I'm the Volkswagen. Okay. But everybody want to be the Bentley, the Rolls Royce, and all that. And I own all that. You see what I'm saying? Volkswagen owns all those high profile cars that everybody wants. So I know the knowledge to create an artist, aka a Bentley, Rolls Royce, Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I know how to do it. If I try to try to give you the info or the knowledge to do it yourself, and you don't take it, that's on you. But you can't say I didn't try.
Absolutely. So
here's the, what's interesting is that the difference between our generation and today is that people want instant gratification. They think they make one record, I'm supposed to get $1 billion contract, I'm supposed to be on tour, everybody's supposed to love me, I'm supposed to buy a mansion, and I'm supposed to, drive a Bentley instead of a Volkswagen. This all should happen right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's no perseverance in it. There's no, there's no building blocks. There's no research. There's no, paying your dues. I mean, nothing in life comes without paying dues one way or another. There's a hazing period for everything.
Yes, it is.
And folks got to understand that you got to put in the work. And like, Greg, you said it seems like it's all work. Yeah, but if you think about your parents and my parents, when they retire, they not struggling. They're
right,
not living on, just a social security check.
right.
They put in the work, they paid their dues, they went through their struggles, they went through the layoffs, they went through everything to get to a point where, they're in their 70s and they kicking back. And like me, for instance, struggling, what the hell I'm gonna give my parents for Christmas? Hell, they got everything. Well, they don't need nothing.
I mean, right.
That's my ultimate goal for my kids to be like, well, shit, I don't know what to buy my mama because she don't
She
need
got
nothing.
everything. She got everything.
She don't need nothing.
But you know what? To add on to what you said, Jory, that's one of the reasons a lot of them get taken for their money, because they're looking for that quick fix, that fast fix. And the first person to come along and say, hey, I can make you a big star, just invest and give me this and give me that. And they do it because they think that's how they're going to get there quick. It's
Yeah,
the
it is a
same
lot.
way in the literary industry. Same thing happens in the
Yeah,
literacy industry.
it's a lot of. It's pretty much like whatever's trending, people latch on to. You know what I'm saying? And you got to know how to decipher the real people from the fake ones. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that be like, "Oh, I can help you get into the industry." Which what I show people, and Greg can attest to this. Only thing I did was ask questions.
Yep.
And I absorbed everything they told me.
And did it yourself.
Yeah, I absorbed it because, like we always say, the way I did it might not work for you, but you got to understand how I did it so you can do it yourself.
Exactly. See, they think they're entitled. They think they're entitled. Every these kids now, and I'm not saying anything bad against you kids or the younger people, but it's entitlement. It's like everything we as parents, our generation of parents, we kind of spoiled our kids a lot. All right, we didn't spoil the rod, but we did spoil them a lot, and we gave them everything that they needed. And now when we have to kick them out, they still want to say. That's why a lot of them go start selling drugs and doing this and stuff. Okay, because they want the same things that they had before the strings were cut. You know what I mean? So they feel that they're entitled, and they're not entitled. I mean, and it's amazing how we look at how we grew up, and we look at the things that we had to do. We had to work. Okay, let's put it like that. Mom and dad bought my mom and dad, and I'll use this analogy. They bought property, and there were 6 boys in the family. We had to mow the lawn. We had to paint the house. We had to fix the windows. We had to do the plumbing. We had to learn all of that. Okay, all right. They can't do that now. They cannot do that now. That's entitlement. And like Dr. Jory was saying, okay, they want it all right now. Okay.
But that's the millenniums, or Generation Y, as they're called. I mean, that's the generation. We all come from different generations, and that's the generations that are coming up, at this point.
But really what it is they made it easier now. And the thing about it is, even though they made it easier, it's still the process you have to go through. And a lot of people don't understand that. You see what I'm saying? They see how easy it is now. But they was like, oh, well, I don't need you. I don't need your advice. All I got to do is do a song and put it on, go to TuneCore and then put it on all of the platforms. And I'm good.
Chris, if we had that they have now, back then we'd be billionaires right now.
Hey, I wouldn't be on here, bro.
Dude, trust me.
You want to kick us to the curb, Chris?
I'd have kicked you to the curb. Okay?
You see, that's what friends are for.
It wouldn't be Dope Living TV. It wouldn't be none of that.
It'd just be dope.
Me and Chris, we'd be in Miami right now, chilling for real.
Chilling.
Hey, everybody, welcome Nikki to the show. First of all,
hey Nikki,
hey Nikki.
Greg, let me tell you the story real quick. So I'm gonna tell you this story real quick, because when you said something about property, so where I grew up on in Gary was in the Ambridge Man area, and when I was growing up, we used to have hedges around our front yard.
Right.
And we had these 2 big trees, and it was the fall. And my dad was working 3 to 11. So when me and my older brother got home from school, he said, okay, I want y'all to rake these leaves up. Okay, we're going to rake the leaves up. So we out there raking leaves, and the leaves are steady falling off the tree. So me and my older brother got this bright idea that was like, fuck, we just going to wait till all the leaves fall. Then rake them up. Let me tell you, when my daddy got home from Inland Steel at 11:30 that night, and them leaves were still in that yard, he got the porch light on, got our asses out the bed, and guess what we was doing?
Absolutely.
I remember those days.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that doesn't happen anymore. Those are the values that these, and I'm not saying all of them, but those are the values that are lost. You know what I mean? And I say this a lot, and then we also have babies having babies who want to be friends with their kids instead of a parent. So, it's so different, and I just thank God we didn't have cell phones when I was growing up, because the shit that we did was ridiculous.
But you know where that comes from also. Another thing we don't have is real grandmothers like we used to have back in.
And the technology that has been embedded in our kids and our grandkids. That's another thing that's taking them in a different direction, because I'm looking at my granddaughter doing her reading homework, like her reading in her reading class, and the book it's reading to her. And I'm like, how are you learning in this class when the book is reading to you? I made her cut it. I thought that was just so ridiculous.
That's what they do. They don't even teach cursive writing anymore.
They don't.
I know. They don't.
We had typing classes.
Yep.
Shorthand.
We had the
home
mandatory foreign languages,
Hey,
Spanish
Dr.
or
But
Corey,
French.
yeah,
You had to
Dr.
pick.
Corey, when you worried about how fast you could type because somebody next door to you, next in the next
Look
ASDF,
at Charleston. We would go in there on our lunch hour and be like ASDFJKL semicolon, and
yep,
we would practice that.
yep.
We could do those.
You don't do it no more. My son up here with these.
But
My
the
son is
one
confused.
thing that
Here's
the
the one thing.
millenniums have on us, you guys, you got to give them their props.
What,
Their technology is off the chain compared to us.
But that goes.
We can't hold a
But that
candle
goes.
to their
That goes back to what I
technology.
said.
They don't
That
know
goes back.
nothing.
That goes back to what I said earlier. They
So
make
slow
it
them
easy,
down.
but you still got to follow the steps. You can make it as
Still
easy
gotta
as you
follow the
want to, but
process.
you still got to follow the process. The process never changes
Nope.
It's
because
crazy.
you got stuff you could probably look up on Google. You know what I'm saying? And you got to look through 7 different what's the names, and 6 of those 7 might be false information.
True.
And
And
you
you can
gotta
go right to the encyclopedia and look it up yourself.
understand, man. We didn't have no www. We didn't have no AOL.
We had the Dewey Decimal System is what we
The
had.
Dewey
But
Decimal.
one of the things we learned in one of our classes was how to look up books in the library. That was taught in school.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I remember in one of my classes, the teacher taught us how to use the yellow pages.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had maps. You know what I'm saying? We had road maps.
Well, we had to do what was it called, Dr. Joy Lynn? The degree angles on the map to find
Longitude,
latitude. Yep.
Yeah.
Trigonometry. They don't do that no more.
Oh, they do it. They still do it. They still got it.
I ain't heard it.
But no, they still do it. But they don't do it the way they used to do it back when we was in school, because you have people that wasn't advanced.
But you guys, you watch in 10 years though, it's going to be a whole different breed of adults, because we're going through this coronavirus, this pandemic, and the children are learning in a different way at a slower pace. Some of them are not even in class. It's 26 kids in my granddaughter's class, and on a daily basis, there's only 12 kids there.
Hey, check this
We're
out.
gonna have a whole civilization of adults that are much, much slower than what we're used to.
Hey, Gina, this is our Wikipedia right here. Raven said it best.
Encyclopedia.
Yes, everybody had that in their home. My mama still got hers. My mother still has hers.
You know what's crazy about that? Even before Encyclopedia Britannica, what was those red encyclopedias? They was all red.
Was it World
Book?
World Book?
Wasn't it one? Say it again.
Encyclopedias? World Book Encyclopedia?
They was all red.
I think it was World Book, but World Book was brown and white, or brown and beige.
No, these was red.
But that was our www.
That was.
Yep.
Oh,
hand that to a 12-year-old right now, and they're gonna be like, "What is this?" They look at us. Give them a regular phone that we used to have, where we used to dial, and they like, "How do I use this?"
I got something for you that y'all. I'm gonna see if y'all remember this. Can I turn my camera around?
Nicole, we ain't talking over your head, are we, youngster?
If you turn your camera around, Dr. Jordan, you gotta hit the camera mic button, and then you gotta go to the camera back.
Okay.
We didn't set up here and had a 12-year-old here with us. Nikki over here. We talking about Encyclopedia Britannica and
y'all see it?
I got that. I don't have it. My mom and them got it. Hey, Dr. Joy Lynn, I saw them pictures in there, and that scared me, man. Some of them, them pictures of them people hanging, the black folks and this and that. That scared me when I looked at that book, man. I'm like, Daddy, why did you bring this? Why did you buy this?
Come on, baby. Come on.
So that was the black.
Was it Merit something?
Oh,
Merit Encyclopedia.
Merit
Books.
Merit Books.
It was Merriam Webster.
Yeah.
Miriam,
So
I'm
I broke them out for my daughter to use for Black History. I was like, you want to do Black History report? I got something for you.
Man, that had the info. I don't care what nobody said. You could go to that and find whatever you needed.
Ever,
I didn't
ever.
have to use that until we had African American history as a curriculum in high school.
It's Merriam-Webster.
Yep,
Mhm.
that's what it was. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, shout out to my assistant Kayla. She always on that. Hope
Hi,
everything's well.
Kayla.
Hey, what Lou Dane at? She be popping off.
She here. She here.
She popping
I
off.
think she's working.
I got a question.
I think she's working.
I got a question for Lou Dane and Dr. Joy Lynn. Y'all went to Horace Mann, right? Y'all both went to Horace Mann. Do y'all know? Royal Joyner?
Yeah.
Royal Joyner.
Who?
Royal.
Joyner.
That name don't sound familiar.
They must have been way younger than us.
Nah, never. That's one of my older cousins. He's 63.
He
That's
way
what's up.
older than us.
Then
Like
he's
10
way
years.
older than us then.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, you asked about Royal. What's the point, bruh?
No, I was just asking. They know they went to what? Horace Mann. That's why I was asking.
Okay.
I know
So
some
Nikki,
joiners, but not that one.
Yeah, Tom Joyner. Hey, Nikki.
They don't. Those millennials don't know who that is either.
Nikki, you know Tom Joyner, don't you? You're on mute, I think. You on mute?
She's on mute. Unmute your phone.
I don't know. Hers doesn't show mute.
Yeah, it didn't show me.
It's on mute.
Hold on.
It's showing on mute on my end now.
It says her mic isn't connected.
Yeah.
So you got to get off and then come back on. But we can't hear you. Okay. All right. I saw that though. See, I got two good eyes. Anyway,
She maybe didn't hit the mic thing when she came on.
no, she's gonna have to log off and then log back on.
So now you're gonna really just go in on the people that have seen issues.
No.
Okay,
Well, I gotta have an issue of the month. So last month was little people. This month is
See my artist I sent to you, Greg?
big. Yes, sir.
What you think? Can she sing?
That's dope, dude. She's dope. She's good looking too.
That's my new. That's my newest artist.
Hey, get her on Friday.
Your noof? You call him noof?
My newest artist.
Oh, okay.
Hey, here's a
she's a little person. So
here's a dilemma we have here at Dope Living TV. It's a dilemma we like to discuss sometimes on the air, so y'all can know what we're doing. All right. Christmas is Friday.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem doing a show on Christmas.
I mean, I don't either, but
they made a song. They made a song. They should change the song. It's not what do the lonely do. What do the alone do at Christmas?
What do the horny do?
What?
What do the horny do?
Oh.
What do the horny do?
Okay.
Christmas.
Okay. This is about
Wait,
inspirational.
wait, hold on. Whoa. Okay, go ahead.
Mm-mm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we should. So we should really make if we do come on at Christmas.
It's not a Christmas show. It's music. It's music.
Oh, it's Friday, so it's music. So guess what?
What's
the
that?
people come on. They just have to sing a Christmas song.
Rap. They can't sing.
If they rap, they can rap.
I want to hear
being
music.
funny.
I want to hear
I'm just being funny. I'm just being funny.
You know, Players Ball was a Christmas song, so I just rapped that.
It was a Christmas song. You're right.
Players Ball.
Yeah, by Outkast.
Yeah.
It was on the Little Face Christmas album.
How that did that, I don't know. But
so how did we lose everybody? What happened? We lost 3 people.
I didn't say nothing wrong. Well, Jory probably had to go. You know, and again, hey Jory, if you're looking, so much appreciate you
Love
coming
her.
on, because I love it when you come on and
Love her.
give your viewpoint on stuff. I mean, it's very, very, very necessary that they hear from somebody of your stature as well. Well, here's another dilemma. Gina, she'll be back on doing Dope Living TV, the Rewind music video show. So now we getting a lot of people sending us these independent people sending us their links to their videos on the page. Everybody, y'all make sure y'all go to Dope Living TV's Music Fridays. Every Friday, y'all come on and tune into that. It's necessary. I'll put it like that. So I'm thinking about doing the 925 music video show for independent artists, and just linking that up, putting it on Dope Living TV, and you know, making a whole show out of it. Each of us can interview them if we, you know, like I can do the interview right here,
like this. Yeah,
you put it on
to the video,
exactly, and then put it on there. So you know, I'm thinking about doing that. I'm gonna talk to the brother. Unmute. That's Nikki over there. Yeah, there she go.
Okay, I think I'm back.
Yeah, we got
You're back.
Okay.
Hey, you're back.
Sorry about the connection.
That's
No
all right.
worries. No worries.
I kept having to mute my phone because my son kept popping in the camera and screaming. So I'm like, I'm trying to have privacy, but it's hard because kids
This
is everywhere.
real world, don't live in real world stuff.
It's
And
okay. Young blood.
I'm gonna pop off in a minute. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to too because I ain't nothing all day. I'm gonna pass out.
I
We
can
can
barely hold my eyes open.
We can go till late.
Barely hold my eyes open.
8:30.
Yeah, I can't do like I did yesterday.
Get off a little
Yeah, it was good. It was a good show yesterday. Though. Really good show.
I mean, we're streaming live on Twitch. Sound like who was that? Chris Rock was doing the exercise. One, not two. You know. Hey, America, I saw the trailers for those.
Look, they got some movies that's about to come out in 2021. It's about to be crazy.
Absolutely. And,
hold on, Lou Dan. I'm trying to read your lips. Go ahead. Oh, okay.
I know. I can't wait. I love them. I've seen some trailers. I can't wait.
Dr. Joylene, I was just talking about you.
What?
I was just talking about you.
That's your phone thing gets on my nerves. So I will keep my laptop.
Every day, Ravenhall, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. Central. Every day. We talk about everything. You know,
don't miss it.
Can't miss it. But Joylene, I was just saying, you know, I love it when you come on. Even though you don't like me, but I love it when you come on because you give a different perspective, and a lot of young ladies need to see a powerful woman and listen to the story that you've told. It was amazing. It's amazing that because to me it was all work. Okay, but that's a good thing. Okay, and in a male-dominated world, man, you're doing your thing. I'm proud of you. Right?
That was the best. Those were the best 8 years of my life.
Best days of my life too. So Nikki, Dr. Jory didn't come on yesterday with us, okay? But Dr. Jory, Nikki just been going through. She's had a hard year, all right. She's had a difficult year, okay, and it's Nikki, we're glad you're on this week because we want to keep you encouraged, girl. We want to keep you, and Dr. Jory Lynn is one of those powerful women we were talking about. Why do you keep talking when the mute is on? Dr. Jordan, you got to talk to this lady.
What's going on? I mean, unfortunately, I did this show yesterday, but I know that you're always in comments.
Mute up for a second, Nikki. Go ahead, Dr. Lynn.
So, kind of give me a little bit of what's going on.
Tell her your story, Nikki. She said, "Wait a minute." She walked into another room. Go ahead. We following you. We know what your whole house look like now. Now she in the dark. Okay, it. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I started right there. In the
So
basement, yeah.
you know, you've gotten perspective from everybody else, but Dr. Joy Lynn come a little bit different. Okay, tell her what your story is.
I'm a single mom of two, a daughter that's 5 and a son that's 2, and I'm blessed for the both of them. I really am. I over the years, um, I think this was first when I had my daughter first. Things was going good with me and her dad. I was with him for 5 years. My family took him in. My dad treat my daughter dad, you know, basically he just treated him as like he needed a father figure, and things was going good. And down the line when I got pregnant with my daughter, stuff just went downhill. It was just very depressing for me. And then for me to be in a relationship for so many years and got cheated on, and it was just devastating to me. And I took that relationship with my daughter dad hard.
Now hold that
And
thought. Hold that thought. Joy Lynn, go ahead.
I dated someone for 9 years, and in 2017, on December 31st, I walked away. And 2.5 years later, this person is engaged to be married.
wow.
You have to. Did I love him? Absolutely. Do I care about his well-being? Absolutely. Do I love me more? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you have to break your own heart, Nikki. You have to break it. You have to break your own heart. You have to say, you know what? As much as I want to be, as much as I want to be in this relationship, as much as I want my kids to, have a 2-parent home, this is not healthy for me. I'm going to cry for 3 days
Right.
and I'm going to keep it moving. Because you got to grieve it. You got to grieve the relationship.
It's
You
like
got to
I
grieve.
don't. It's like
It's
I
a
don't
loss.
know why, but I take relationship as like I'm not. It's like I'm not basically obsessed with someone. I just love strong.
Hard.
That's just me. I see my mom and dad. They could get on each other nerves, fuss, but they still together. They still are here
Mm-hmm.
together. And I always want that for the both of my kids. And it's
Everybody wasn't
fortunately,
raised like you.
yeah.
Everybody wasn't raised like you. And the moment you accept that, because I was the same way with my oldest daughter's father when we got married in the Navy. I'm like, okay, this what my daddy, this type of person. My daddy was from the harbor, East Chicago. I knew the number to Kentucky Liquors if I needed to find my dad because my godfather owned it. I knew whatever every club he went to. And my daddy ran the streets, but I never went without food, clothing. I was in every activity or sport I wanted to be in. The house was furnished. I didn't go without nothing. So I'm thinking every man is like that, but everybody wasn't raised like that. So the moment you accept that what you're looking for, you can't have your parents' relationship. That's not yours to have. That's theirs. You have to create your own with the person
Right.
you're with.
Right.
Now, Nikki, check this out. This is one reason I wanted, and I'm glad Dr. Joy Lynn came back on. Okay, number one, she's had her struggles. Number two, she's a lady. But if you're looking at this feed right now, what does she have in the front of her name? Doctor. She earned that. She earned it. She had to struggle. She had to fight. She had to claw. She had to do what she had to do. But she earned that. All right. She didn't let the same obstacle that you're going through. She didn't let that obstacle stop her. You know what I'm saying? She talk about
and
her
another
a
thing,
doctor. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
and another thing you got to take into consideration, Nikki, you can't expect people to treat you the way you treat them.
I think that's
And
why it's
that's
so
the
hard
hardest lesson.
and how I
Mhm.
take stuff so personal because I think looking at for what I've done for people and I
Mhm.
didn't get anything back and it's like a slap in the face and it's like what
Don't
did
look
I
for that.
do? You know.
So you can't
So
expect that
two
return.
things. Yep, you can't. And two things that I've learned, and that my dad, because I was the only girl, and I was raised around brothers, and I saw what they did, and and they taught me a lot. Two important things: you got to find somebody who loves you more than you love them,
Mhm.
and two little checks don't make one big one.
Exactly.
Right.
Come on, man. I love
My
that.
parents call it. That's their ringtone. My mom and dad's ringtone. I won't shit.
I love it. But
But but yeah, so two little paychecks don't make one big one. And you got to find somebody who loves you more than you love them. And not to say that you love them, you don't love as hard as they do, but someone who loves you more will respect boundaries, will communicate with you, will, you know, when times are hard, they struggle with you, understand that you'll help me. You see what I'm saying? Um,
Yes.
knows that if something goes on with them, you got their back, but they always have yours. They'll find a way to make a way out of no way.
and
So
and
it's
until you find that person, you got God. Until you find that person, you ain't got to be with nobody. Okay, and Dr. Joy Lynn is absolutely positively right. Somebody that loves you better than you love yourself. Okay, but until you find that person, or until that person is brought to you or finds you, talk to God. Get your peace there. Because if you don't talk to, you don't have a relationship with Him, you ain't never gonna have that person's never gonna come to you. You're
and
gonna keep on
sometimes you gotta just be by yourself.
exactly.
You gotta learn to let me tell you something. Let me have a house with nobody in it. I don't cut the TV on. I don't cut no music on. I don't cut nothing on. It's just me and quietness. Sometimes you just got to be by yourself for a while because you got to figure it out. And until you figure it out, you can't be with nobody. You can't make nobody happy unless you happy.
Exactly.
Right. I have been focusing on myself and been thinking a whole lot. I ain't gonna lie. It's like after I got off here, I actually cried. I cried again, but it felt good. It wasn't like, oh, I'm crying because I'm so emotional and sad. It was like a good cry. Like I just needed to get it all out,
Yeah,
and I
and
felt better. And
and
I
there's one
woke
I
more
up
got a
thing.
whole bunch of
happy.
them.
So
There's one more thing I want to tell you. Also, you can't look for someone else to make you happy. You have to be happy first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to add on to your happiness. You know what I'm saying? You can't look. Even they supposed to complete you by adding on to what you already have. That's how they complete you. They're not supposed to come in and make you happy. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be like even the situation you were in before. You got to heal from that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Gotta
saying?
grieve
That's
it. It's a
yeah,
loss.
yeah. Because that's one of the things that I had to go through. You know what I'm saying? Jumping out of relationship to relationship to relationship, not having a chance to heal. You know what I'm saying? So you have to heal on relationships. You know what I'm saying? Before you jump into something new, because the only thing you're doing is taking baggage on that road trip with you. That's all you do.
And
and
you
it's
gotta
so
know what you're
scary.
doing.
It's so scary. I feel like that when I got with my son did. Which he's a family friend and I wish I would have kept that friendship with him instead of, doing other things, but
Mhm.
unfortunately, I have a son and it's kind of
Yeah,
hard because I try to
unfortunate.
communicate and it's hard to co-parent when the parent blames everything on you and you try to be the bigger person and it's hard because it don't really work out, but You know, I
Word.
have my parents now that's involved
Mm-hmm.
just for it just to work.
Sticks and stones, words. Don't let them hurt you, man. Don't let them hurt you. Let him say what he's gonna say. Because in the long run, when those kids grow up, he's gonna be hurting. He's gonna regret not being there for those.
Man, ooh, we
Yeah.
Greg, say that shit one more time.
I'm just saying, Dr. Jorlene. You know, I sometimes I come with little gems, okay? But
Man, say that shit one more
when they
time.
grow up, he's gonna be hurting. He's gonna want to be
Right.
around them, and they're not gonna give a damn about him, okay?
Let me tell you something.
Right.
What a woman should never do to their kids, and this shit pisses me off about the generation. See, now you got me on a whole new rant, Greg.
Let's go. Let's go.
First of all, I can't stand a woman who withholds their child from their daddy because they mad because he ain't moved on and they stuck. That shit
Absolutely.
pisses me off. Let me
I'm
tell
not
you,
gonna lie. At first, I feel like that, and I said it wouldn't be right for me to feel like that because it's not about me. It's about
let
my
me tell
son.
you something. Child visitation with the dad is not about the dad and it's not for the dad. It is for you to have a break to recharge so you can continue to be the best mother you can be.
Absolutely.
Because if you got a
I agree.
kid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, what break do you have? If he say, I'm coming to get him, pack his shit
I do.
and
It's in
let
the
him
morning.
go.
Oh
Because
yeah, I
when
do.
you get some time for yourself, then the little shit that they do around the house doesn't piss you off. This is how these kids end up being abused by, parents and boyfriends because they ain't got a break. You let them babies go with their daddy. It ain't about them. It's about you.
Yep. Preach. For real.
I
And
had
I definitely, and I do definitely tell my son dad come get him every chance he get. So
and let them go.
I would
Let
never
them
break
go.
that between them at all. Cause I have
Let
my dad, and I would die without him. So
let them
yeah,
go. I cannot stand it. Don't that kid ain't got nothing to do with y'all issues. But
So how
right.
you need that period to get your thoughts and your mind
did
together
energize?
and get you some and get out and get you some adult time. And if it ain't nothing, shit, take a bath by yourself without somebody knocking on the damn door. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that you need to recharge yourself, and it needs to be done. Don't use that kid as a mechanism to get what you want, because all you doing
It's hurting the
is hurting the
child.
kid. And on top of that, don't you ever talk bad about the father to the kid,
To the
because
yeah. Oh yeah.
what?
Woo.
Guess what? You slept with him. So what that make you?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
talk bad about, because
He's stupid.
whatever
You
he's
stupid.
doing
Yeah.
wrong, when that kid grows up, he'll see it for himself.
Can
And
I
let
say
him
something
see
really
it.
quick?
Don't do that.
Real quick,
And
real
Ever
another
do
quick.
that.
thing, yeah, another thing you gotta, and what you said earlier, it takes some mothers way too long and way too late to figure that out. When you were talking about keeping a child away from his father, most of them never figure that out. So everything that they're telling you right now is true, because when they keep the child away from the father, they're talking bad about him. So now the son grows up, or the child grows up with a certain feeling about the father, about how he looked, how
Because
he is.
I guarantee you, when as the child grows and he learns, he'll see for himself. He'll see everything. You ain't got to say nothing, because you know what? They absorb everything. When you hurting, your baby knows. When you upset, your baby knows. When you in the room and you arguing on the phone, all closed eyes ain't sleep. They hear all that shit.
But that's
Yeah.
not a burden for a child to carry.
Exactly. That
That's
you
not a
man.
child's burden.
That you
Yeah.
man.
So
Why
they shouldn't even hear those things or be involved in those things.
at all. At all. And you talking about somebody who with that I don't do that. I've never done that. And I'm telling you, me and my daughter's fathers have had some knockout, drag out fights.
I've
And
never
he
done.
could call the next day and say, I'm coming to pick up. I'd be like, all right, what time? Because
It's
you got to get over it. You got to get past it because you giving people too much power over your life. Way too much power over your life. Because you know what? They living their best life and you at home crying.
Exactly. They won.
They won. You giving them way too much power over you.
It's like hard for me to co-parent, to be honest, because like I said, my mom had to like step in, and like for me, I don't like for a father to drop his son off to. I know some people could co-parent and speak, be cordial. My baby father told my mother that I'm not allowed to even say hello. To don't ask him nothing if it's not about his son, which I understand that. But my thing is, you drop my son off. Don't tell me if he ate. What did he do? Was he okay? I could be cordial. He will hop in a car, wave his hand off at me, and drive off.
But how did you get to that point?
I have not spoken. I have not spoken to my ex-husband since we divorced, and that was over 30 years ago. We have not had words, even after we divorced. You know, when he wanted to come get our kids, I sent them on. They were old enough, and I told him, you don't have to call me. They're old enough for you to talk to. My kids were 12, 13, and 4. And I told him, if, contact your children. You don't have to talk to me. I didn't want to talk to him. And I haven't talked to him since we divorced.
But you don't, I can understand if it's a young child that needs to, that can't communicate. I can understand that.
Right.
But on the same token, I don't know no father who's an active parent that's going to put their kid in harm's way.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that women always try to say, well, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know.
Shit.
That is their blood. Like, like, if you don't know that individual and you done had kids with them, that's a problem.
So, I've never worried about, my daughter's father, he would introduce me to, whoever he was dating, and he'd say, we the only two that discipline her. So if you got a problem with her, you let me know and I'll take care of it. But
this is one of the things I want to tell Nikki. I'm waiting for her to come back on. But I'll repeat it. He's doing that because he's hurt also. That's his way of acting, the way he's acting. You see what I'm saying? He's trying to act like the bigger, tougher person.
Mm-hmm.
When really on the inside, he's hurt.
Yep.
And we got to acknowledge that we play a role in a lot of shit too. We got to, come on. Greg know me. I'm going to tell it like it is. We have to acknowledge our part in this. Our part in the
I don't know what you're talking about, Jory.
Hey, Nikki, did you hear what I said?
I think my phone was
What I was saying was he's acting that way when you say he don't speak to you or he gets a car and drives off. He's doing that because he's hurt. He's hurt. He don't know how to show his feelings. He don't know how to show his feelings. He don't know how to sit down and talk. And that's what most people don't understand. It's a conversation that can probably end the whole situation. It probably won't move further of y'all getting back together, but it'll move forward for y'all co-parenting with your children.
It's like he wants us to be great parents, and I'm so good with that. At first, we couldn't get along. A lot of stuff had happened. We had to go into that later. But he actually called me the other day before I got on, and he was like, listen, I'm not to argue. I don't want to fight. It's about our son. I want to do the right thing. I don't want to fight. And I said, okay. But my thing was like, he's saying how he feel, and I respect that. But the moment I try to explain how I feel, I just get cut off.
But it's not a tit for tat. It's not a tit for tat.
I'm gonna be real, Nikki.
Hold on.
I don't sugarcoat nothing. Let that man parent his child and move on. I'm gonna be real. Like, you want to be you know how many kids out there that don't have their father?
No,
the women are chasing them down, trying to find the father.
Yeah, but you can't do that. You can't
But
do that.
it's not a tit for tat.
Yeah,
It's
because
not a tit for tat. So he shared his feelings. He already know how you feel. Because I'm sure you have said it on 99 different occasions how you feel. Haven't you not? He knows how you feel.
Yeah.
We gotta stop trying to do that.
Sometimes it's a blessing that people walk out of your life. Sometimes it's a blessing that you don't see at that point. Sometimes it's a blessing that God is setting you up for something else. Sometimes you need to be by yourself because there are other tasks and other duties that he has planned for you. And that person is not in that.
It's not. You don't even know you've been delivered.
But that part that you're talking about is true. But when it comes to co-parenting, until the child get a certain age, y'all have to communicate, because there's certain things that he might let the child do at his house that you don't allow at your house. Right. You know what I'm saying? He might have the child around people that you don't even know about. You know what I'm saying? Not saying he's putting the child in harm's way, but still, you don't know that person.
Let me ask you something on that, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
What is the problem with him having someone else around his son?
It's not a problem.
That's not what he's saying.
That's not what I'm saying. It's about communication. Because just because he's with someone else, that don't mean you know the person. Like, I'm gonna take my son for instance. My son's mother has someone around my son that put his hands on my son. You see what I'm saying? I didn't know the dude, but I found out who the dude was. When I found out who the dude was, he had a problem. Now he knew that problem was coming towards him, and he woke up in the hospital. That's one thing.
I wouldn't never let anybody put their hands on my kids, and you know.
But everybody's not you, Gina, and that's what we're trying to say.
But that's what I'm saying. When a child is at an age where they can't speak for themselves,
you have to. When they're younger,
but you have to communicate with the other half. You can't be like, oh, well, let him just parent the way he's going to parent. You can't do that.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that he should be able to parent his son without all of this interference in it. I disagree with you. Yes,
it has, because
let me go on mute. Hold on.
But see, this is the thing I'm talking about. There's certain things. Say if we had a child together, there's certain things that you allow at your house that I don't allow at mine. There's certain things I allow mine and you don't allow at yours.
Absolutely.
But you can't say you have to communicate with the person so y'all can agree to disagree and talk about it at that age. When you're raising a child together, you can't raise a child together two different ways, because the child is not going to come out the way that you want the child to come out. You can't do it. Now, when they come to a certain age where they understand what you're saying to them, yes, you can do that.
It is a difference in the age of the child.
Yeah.
If the child is younger, then you have to probe, because they don't understand what's going on. They're not old enough. See, my children were older.
Yeah, see, that's different.
They were older. They were 12,
they can comprehend. They can comprehend what you're saying. They can comprehend
separated. So when they went off to South Bend or to Atlanta, where he was living, wherever he was living, if any problems, they're gonna call me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They're gonna call me.
Exactly.
But the thing that I'm saying, as far as Nicole, as far as Nikki's situation, I think that there should be some give and take. I'm not saying that there should be no communication, but you can't be a mother that's trying to run the father's home either.
Oh no, I would never do that at all.
Rules and regulations I'm gonna have.
That's facts,
right?
But you got, and you know this from being a mother, Gina. Who's around the child the most? The mother is. The mother know how the child goes to sleep, how you put the child to sleep, how you do all this with the child. Once he gets around the father don't know all that.
But that's not, there's all kind of different cases. My son's case is totally different. My son, his kids were with him 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
They were with him 90% of the time. And my grandkids' mothers at one point, and it's different now. I have to give them props. They've matured. But years ago, when my grandkids were younger, there was a lot of mess involved in those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
When he didn't want to be with that particular female, the kid's mother, and accomplishing out of that. What is it that you're accomplishing by making it hard for a father that's trying to raise their kids, where we have so many fatherless homes where fathers don't even want to be a part? Why is it that when those fathers that are involved, they get so much slack?
Okay, let me ask.
They get
let me
such a
ask a question real quick. Let me ask this. Let me ask this. So, and I don't know the situation of the complete situation of Nikki, but a question that comes to my mind is this. So, she knows who the father is and how the father acts. Okay, so in an instance where maybe she doesn't trust that father around the kids, she still wants to have the kid's father come get him, but or be around him. Is that a case for supervised visitation?
Well, there can be supervised visitation, but I mean, usually when you have supervised visitation, there's some issues going on.
I would just say this. I do let him get his son. I don't interfere with the content him and his son. I let him raise his son how he wants to in his house. But when he comes back home, it's just the same thing, you know. I could say I don't come in between them at all. His dad has moved on, and I moved on too.
I don't believe that.
I don't have no problem with raising him. It's just we're not together now because we're two different people and we bump heads, so it's not going to work. But we are trying now.
Feelings there on both sides. I think that's where a lot of the contradiction is coming in. I think there's feelings there on both sides still.
Well, he don't have no feelings towards me, but I did have feelings towards him. But I'm making about his son, and I'm not really making about the what's that word?
The relationship?
Yeah.
So do you get upset when he's dating someone else?
At first I did. After I had my son and I found out the situation, I did because me and him was together. We had broke up, and then that little situation had happened and my son had came, so it just went down. And I was in my feelings because he had moved on and he lied to me and he lied to the girl that he's with. And long story short, me and him was together, but we were still trying to make it work. I didn't know he had moved in with this lady until my own family told me. I didn't know none of this. So he was lying to me and lying to the girl. So that's why I still started conflicted back and forth. But as long as I had his son, I always made him see his son, get him, have him, despite how I feel. At first, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I did not want my son around the girl that he's with. Because one, she didn't like me and she don't even know me. I was told by family that she was jealous of my son. She was jealous of the relationship that me and his dad had.
And that's the part I talk about when kids are young. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know the person. It's not about who he's around. It's who your child is around. You know what I'm saying?
And I wasn't comfortable with him going around her just yet because he's a baby, which he's still two. I'm okay, but he can't talk. 2.
So
like, I don't have no problem with him going to his
so
dad's house. It's just
how can if you say they're living together? So
Yep.
how can he see his son if you don't
He
want
come.
him around?
Well, I would say
Supervised visitation.
he stay like 2 hours away, so he come get him every weekend, and I actually let him come and get him.
For
I
the whole
keep him on the
Well,
weekdays.
see, you know what? That's kind of what my son went through. See, I didn't take my ex-husband through that. You know, I felt comfortable, but we were together for 17 years. I knew that he was not going to do anything or let anybody harm his children. I was confident of that. Now, on the other hand, my son went through a different situation where his ex did not want females around the kids. So it made it a difficult situation. What I had him to do, I had him to go to court and get visitation. Because once you go to court and get visitation, the mother can't tell you you can't see him. And so once he set up those visitation, those days that he had my grandkids, she couldn't interfere. So no matter whether or not she didn't want him to have his new girlfriend around them, she didn't have a choice because the court stepped in. So each situation is different. It's different depending on what's going on in those situations. But I don't ever feel that the kids should be compromised or put in the middle of that mess.
Well, I could say I haven't really put my son in the middle. I just also still let his dad come get him and let him be around his girlfriend. It's just, unfortunately, I've been wanting to meet her because I do want to know who's around him inside his home. If I was
agree with you on that.
in a relationship, his dad would want to know what male is around his son because he's crazy about his son. That's one thing he don't play with. You know, it's his baby, but it just personally.
If he don't want you to meet her, Nikki, if he don't want you to meet her, she ain't the one that's gonna stay around.
It's actually
Just know that.
Right.
Just know that.
It's actually a reason why he don't want us to meet. It got pretty messy, and of course,
until he marries her. And so that's one of the things. So I got 2 girls. So let me just say this: my oldest daughter father and my youngest daughter father. Only thing I ask is that whoever you bring them around, make sure that's the one. Don't have a revolving door around my daughters, because I don't want them to think that that's okay.
Yep.
Because it's not okay. But you don't want me to run a whole bunch of men through here. So, you know, all I'm asking is my oldest daughter's father, he'd have a girlfriend, and my daughter was in college. She went to college down at Auburn, and so when she went down there, he was dating somebody, and they got all buddy. He broke up with them, and he started dating someone else. And so the ex-girlfriend thought it was okay to call my daughter with their issues. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. So don't introduce her to the one you're gonna be with. Because if you're not gonna be with them, don't create all these.
Especially if you have girls. Especially if you have little girls, because it's setting the precedence that this is the way it's supposed to be, and you don't want that.
It's actually, especially if you have little boys too, right? Because little boys see their father jumping from female to female and think that's the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those situations where a kid. Exactly. And the kid is going to follow what they see.
See, I'm grinning a little because I'm guilty. I did that when my son was little because I was on the road. I took my son with me, man, and woman. But I thought about it, just and I was like, hey, you know what? I don't want him to grow up doing the same thing. I don't want that for him, which is why I scaled back doing a lot of stuff, man. So everything y'all saying is absolutely right. And Nikki, at the end of the day, it's your choice. You know, you got to do what you got to do, what you're going to do for your child, okay? But these are
One thing I can say is no matter what I go through with both of my kids, father, I never stick them in the middle of nothing. I don't. Because I don't want my parents to meet in the middle of whatever they got going on, you know. It between them two, you know.
yeah. I mean,
Leave me
you
out
know,
of it.
you want better for your kids. You want,
Time heals
Yeah, I
everything.
do.
Time heals everything.
as Gina said,
And
time
in
does heal.
time, you're gonna, that's gonna be a thing of the past.
I'm going to
My parting words to you are take some time from yourself for yourself. Just don't date.
Yeah.
Don't, and I'm not saying you don't have needs because because everybody got needs, but I wouldn't date for a period of
Yeah,
time. I
focus
would
on
Oh,
yourself.
I haven't
just
dated
focus
in
on
3 years.
yourself.
It's going on 4, so I'm good by myself.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Yeah.
But you also,
Yeah,
but
because you
you're
gotta.
not focusing on you. You focusing on
Yeah,
everybody else's relationship and what they doing.
yeah,
You ain't
and
focusing on you though, and that's what I'm saying. You need to
Find
focus
you a
on
hobby.
you.
Find you
All that
a,
other shit, if it
a small business you want to start. That's going to give you
Oh, I
time
am.
away
I am.
from all of those thoughts.
Start a business.
ain't, just
I will.
focus on you. Not on him and who he dating and what he doing with the
Right.
baby and this and that.
Right.
Don't all that.
I will.
Just focus on you.
So good. Hey, we hallelujah. Hi. We put our hands on Nikki right now.
You're going to be okay.
She gonna be all right.
You're going to be all
But
right.
but you know what? I ain't gonna put all my business out on here, but I'm gonna be so real. The reason why his dad at first didn't want me and her to meet, my son got here because we kept having relations, and our family told us to just be friends, and we both didn't listen. So now we got to deal with each other because we have a son. And like I said, I didn't know he had a girlfriend, and certain things happened between me and him, and all hell broke loose. So that's why she don't like me. She can't stand me, and she don't care to get to even know me or whatever. But
But she chose to stay, so that's her cross to bear.
Exactly. You
but
ain't got to worry about what
it's like when his dad get mad, he blames me for everything, and it's like, what part are you gonna take? It's your fault too.
Nick, at the end of the day, it's about your kids, okay? Period. It's about your kids. And whether this
I
lady
agree.
is saying something to you, cross or whatever, okay? As long as she's not hurting the kids and you trust the fact that he's not going to put anybody around your kids that are going to do harm to him, I mean, don't stop him from seeing his kids. On the other hand,
I won't.
just do your homework. You know what I'm saying?
I will.
Make sure that the surroundings that he is bringing the kids around is good for the kids. All right.
One thing I can say is he's a good father. He is.
There you go. If you say he's a
love
good
his
father,
son a whole lot, and I would never come in between that.
yeah, if you say he's a good father, then hey, then
It's a beautiful thing.
But the kids are the main objective, period. The happiness of the kids, because they didn't ask to be here. It's the happiness of the kids. Let them grow up at least knowing mommy and daddy. We're cool with each other, okay? And even
Oh yeah.
as Jory said, don't talk bad about the father to the kids.
No, I would never do that.
Let kids grow up and have a life, all right? Anyway, we're gonna get out of here, y'all. We're gonna get out of here because I don't think anybody ate. But
yeah, I got Panda Express, so I'm on my way.
you had to be specific with yours. All right, we was just talking about maybe a piece of candy or something. You up here talking about some Panda Express,
right?
Call my name.
But hey, man, we trying to inspire this week on Dope Living TV Live, man. And before we go, too bad Jocelyn on here because
you're beautiful, you're smart, you're loved. This week will be great. You got this. You're a badass. You can do this.
well, I gotta do that again because did you see where he said this week will be great? He almost fell out of the chair. He, she, whatever it is. Okay, check it out.
You're beautiful. You're smart. You're loved. This week will be great. You got this. You're a badass. You can do this.
Yeah.
I never get enough of him.
Me too.
I'm kind of tired of him right now, but you know, y'all like him. I'm gonna keep him.
I'm not tired. Hey, it's better than throwing the kid in the fan and the hair coming off the top of his head.
I heard
Okay,
that.
like that.
All right. Woo, where's your mama?
Hey, you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that video?
Did y'all see Nikki's face on that?
You know what's funny about? You know what's funny about that video?
That's how my dad is with my kid, and I wish I could put him on his camera. He plays with them and be all rough, and then when something happens, he be like, "Oh shoot, where your mama at?" I'm like, "Daddy, what did you do?"
Hey, look, you know what's funny about that whole video that I just noticed to right now? Ain't no ceiling fan in that house.
Hey, Greg, you got a Sam post
I saw
on there.
that. That's why I ain't posting it.
Yeah.
Somebody put on there talk about you want to become famous by followers, blah 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 blah. Nah,
Oh yeah, you know you got a lot of people that's gonna do that.
You gonna need
but
to
that's from
block them.
Twitch, dude. So we probably gonna have to weed that stuff out. So
Yeah.
Ludine says, "Hello, I'm hanging out here, Nikki. I'm giving my 2 cents. Keep things private. Don't put too much on social media.
Don't put anything on social media.
Oh, I won't, cause my mom is watching me.
Hey, that's what these new thugs do, man. They put all their little
The KGB. That's what I call them. Keyboard gangbangers.
They be crying. The little thugs be crying. She gonna wish she had a man like me who could flip a bird, 3 birds in one night, and you know she gonna wish she had a man like me with spinners and the new Jordans and all of that stuff. Her other man can't get that. Oh, man, look, y'all saw.
The KGB.
Y'all saw. Nikki, appreciate you coming on tonight, man. Appreciate it. Hey, Dr. Joy Lynn, you know what? I love you. I love your view. I love you. I love you. I'm not gonna say it too many times because then you're gonna think I'm stalking. Gina, most definitely ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say all of that because Robin might be in the back, but you know how I feel about you. Chris, man, look, I think we're gonna do that music Friday, man, because I got too many.
Let me know, bro. I ain't doing nothing.
Too many.
I got something I gotta say to Dr. Joy.
You going?
I got something to say to Dr. Joy. Dr. Joy, I broke up with that girl 2 years later. You didn't have to put our business out in the street like that.
What girl?
The girl I got engaged to after we stopped dating.
We're gonna leave it at that. What'd you say, Gina? We're gonna do Friday?
I don't even know what I did.
Are you doing Christmas? Are we doing Christmas?
Hey man, Christmas
I'm with it.
Over 7 o'clock.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
That's some new music Friday. So
only thing, I mean, we can do whatever. We talk music on Friday. I ain't got no problem with it.
Yeah, I'm good. I will have eaten.
I'll be here with food in my face and NBA on my TV screen.
I will be reclining in a chair that says Dope Living. The Dope Living background probably going to be vertical or horizontal. Whichever way y'all choose to put it. I'm going to be laying out. But, you know, I think people are really talking about now the Dope Living Friday. Let's play their music. Let's get it out there. Let's do that. Anyway. Dope Living TV, man. We will see you guys tomorrow. It's motivation, man. We're trying to make sure that everybody stays motivated. Nikki, we appreciate you coming back tomorrow.
Yes.
I did.
We're going to have to put Nikki a part of the team, huh?
Uh-oh, Nikki. That's a challenge. Again, Dr.
You come on. Hey, what we say? You come on more than twice. You what?
Family. So this is Living TV Live. We will see you guys tomorrow, 7 o'clock p.m. Central. All right, peace out.